Yesterday, 26-year-old Joan Sebastian Guerrero was shot and killed by ICE agents in Biddeford. Guerrero was living and working legally here in Maine, according to the Maine Immigrants' Rights Coalition. Senator Angus King shared yesterday that DHS Secretary Mark Wayne-Mullen told him Guerrero was not the intended target. In a statement, DHS says the agent opened fire on Guerrero, fearing for public safety. Now, federal and state investigations into the incident are underway. The Maine Attorney General's office and the Department of Homeland Security's office of the Inspector General are both investigating the shooting. Neither has answered News Center Maine's specific questions, but the AG's office has provided some additional comment. To better understand what could happen next, our Alex Haskell looked at what's happened in other states after ICE-involved shootings.
To pursue accountability of ICE in this case will be difficult.
Dr. Ronald Schmidt, chair of USM's Department of Political Science, says past cases show why. He points to the January ICE shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis.
The Minneapolis district attorney asked for evidence and did not receive anything for about 6 months, even after judges ordered them to produce that evidence.
Schmidt says a similar situation could play out here in Maine. He says ICE could also argue, as it has before, the agent in Biddeford cannot be prosecuted under the Constitution's Supremacy Clause. Schmidt says the clause generally protects federal officers from state prosecution for actions necessary to their jobs, but there is an exception.
Federal officers are not protected if they engage in excessive force. And this seems to at least certainly create the question of whether this was that.
What we do know about the Biddeford investigation comes from the Maine Attorney General's office, which says it is working cooperatively with federal partners, adding, "We will strive for meaningful transparency and accountability. Our primary focus in this moment is on a complete, thorough investigation." And Tuesday afternoon, all 4 members of Maine's congressional delegation sent this letter to the DHS Inspector General calling for a comprehensive, transparent, and expedited investigation.
It's still relatively early.
Plenty of time for more details about the investigations to emerge. Schmidt says because there are separate federal and state investigations, they could ultimately reach different conclusions.
Even assuming that everyone gets access to all the evidence they're supposed to get.
Alex Haskell reporting for us. In its letter to the DHS Inspector General, Maine's congressional delegation is asking for details on how the federal investigation will coordinate with state and local authorities. They're also asking investigators to focus on the timeline of events, whether agents followed operational protocols, and to release any video or other evidence as it becomes available.